Good evening, audience. Good evening, audience, and welcome back. We already done with the first meeting about this fitness program, the ACCA Sbl case study, and it's September-December 2021. The first meeting we done, and that was the question paper we discussed. Now today is our second meeting, and we need third meeting. So we'll have two more meetings, like today's meeting and then the tomorrow one, and we'll be discussing the requirement, the answer, because we're already done with the question paper. There are actually four requirements. One of the requirement is about marketing, the target marketing, segmentation, and CSR thing. The second requirement is about public-private partnership, which we'll do today. And the third one is the big data, the mobile app. And the fourth one is examiner's all-time favorite, internal controls and risk. Okay, let's do two requirements today. The first one will be doing this, as I said, examiner's favorite. And this requirement is actually similar to ACCA F8 audit and assurance. Normally in audit and assurance, they give you this requirement that, hey, this is the system. So these are the controls. Already they give you established controls, but definitely a weak control. And they ask you to identify the weaknesses of control or identify the risk, evaluate the risk, and then you give your expert opinion, you give your recommendation. In this ACCA Sbl, normally he's not going to ask you identify the risk, because in the question paper, like in this program, this Optima Fitness, examiners already, and it's not only about this attempt. In whatever attempt you see, they give you internal audit report or any consultant report, and they already identified the risk. Identified means they already highlighted the risk. Hey, we know these risks. These are the risks. This you find in the question paper. And then what you are supposed to do as a consultant, as a project manager, whatever, that you don't need to identify the risk. Don't be that smart, because the risks are already identified. They want those risks to be assessed by you, like how these risks gonna impact the organization. And then they ask you to provide your recommendation or expert opinion or the safeguard, whatever you say. So this requirement is actually a very simple requirement. I would say cash marks. Normally, any XYZ attempt you see, okay? So every other attempt you see this risk management thing. Now, what is the question here? And you guys have already done with the question paper. It's already on my YouTube channel as well. Or otherwise, you have the what you call the past paper, okay? The requirement is the senior management of Optima Fitness, was the name of the company, the fitness, the gym, has always placed emphasis on local autonomy, XYZ. Prepare a report. Okay, so this time they're not going to ask you the briefing notes, because there's a difference between the briefing notes and the report. In report, you have to write in detail. Whereas in briefing notes, they want you to write in paragraph with, like, I would say, the quick thing, the concise thing, okay? But in report, they want something detailed. Other than the to, from, and the date, this, everything you write in the as a report format. But I'm talking about the body of the report and the body of the briefing notes. In briefing notes, it is quick and short, okay? But in report, you go in more detail. So this time is asking you prepare a report for the presentation of next board meeting. So yeah, to the board of directors or whatever, from whoever you are, you're a project management company or you're a consultant or whatever, and then date and everything. Prepare a report for presentation at the next board meeting, which evaluates. See, he's not going to ask you to identify, because those risks are already identified. There were 4 risks you guys have done with the question paper, okay? Which evaluates the potential impact of the weaknesses which have been identified. Yeah, it says which have been identified in Optima's internal control activities and recommends action to address those weaknesses. Okay, and this time they are going to give you professional marks for evaluation skills. Most of the students, they are confused between analysis skills and evaluation skills. See, in analysis skills, the data is already given. You just have to create the links. Normally in risk management question, I'll ask you about analysis skill as well. But in evaluation skills, you actually do some sort of, the judgment, some sort of decision, some sort of conclusion thing, that the data is given, But now you have to see whatever the decision you're going to make, or how, whatever providing you the conclusion thing, is it worth it? Like in financial terms, I say cost benefit analysis something. Okay. So the professional skill marks are available for demonstrating evaluation skills to objectively appraise the implication of internal controls. See, if you only identify or little evaluate the internal controls, it's nobody will take it seriously. You have to evaluate it and provide what it says implication, how it's going to affect the activities of Optima Fitness. Give you an example. Let's say you come to my organization, you are a project manager, you come to my organization and you tell me, hey, Mr. Mirchawala, these are the risks I have identified. Now you're telling me these are the risks I have identified in your organization. What would be my response? I would say, okay, and I'll move on. But if you, not only if you identify the risk and then you will tell me how it's going to affect my finance, how it's going to affect my organization efficiency, how it's going to affect my stakeholders, like how it is going to affect my overall success of the organization, then I will definitely stop and I'll ask you, okay, can you tell me the recommendation? So evaluation and implication, that's very important. When you're evaluating it, when you're evaluating the risk, you have to provide the impact also, how it is adversely, and obviously adversely, not favorably, adversely impact the organization activities, and definitely then the solution. That's very easy. So internal control system evaluation and recommendation. The first weakness, which I have not identified, it's already identified in the question paper. The first one is lack of review of monthly performance review report. Like whatever the performance and the appraisal they do, nobody is actually reviewing the employee's performance or the branch performance or the overall organization performance. Say lack of review of monthly performance report. You know that if there is no performance review, how it's going to affect? There is no set of data, there's no set of information. It means there is no control actually. There's weak control. You don't know the direction, whether you're going up or down. Your organization is going up or down, nobody knows that. Okay, so that's yes. The first thing is it says no control. And obviously when there is no control, when you're not reviewing the appraisal thing, ultimately it's declining and we don't know, like we cannot, what is the purpose of report, appraisal report, reviewing report? So that it gives you early warning to the senior management. So, and then what's the other problem? The casual judgment. When there is no formal appraisal control and formal appraisal evaluation, then what will happen? Whether it's right or wrong, it's all depend upon the casual judgment, informal judgment of the manager, informal judgment of the director, which we never wanted. Okay, and then obviously resource wastage. The shareholders' funds are misused when there is no lack of review of monthly report. Now, how are you gonna provide control? What are the safeguards? Safeguards. The first safeguard is obviously the hierarchical controls. Hey, regular review, regular monthly reporting, and regular review. For example, you're a supervisor, the assistant manager is going to review. This is called hierarchical controls. And then in the performance of the assistant manager would be reviewed by maybe manager, and then by the senior director and all that. Or if this is a branch, then there is a guy who is controlling 2-3 branches. He will be controlling, and then the sales director and all that. That's called the hierarchical control. This is one of the recommendation you can provide. Okay, the second one is obviously regular monthly review plus evidence. Let me write here evidence, because let's say if you have reviewed it, if you are a senior manager or director or the branch head or sales director, if you have reviewed it, where is the evidence? So there should be proper documentation. There should be proper documentation of the report. Whatever you're doing it, monthly budget or monthly appraisal, you reviewing regular. Because if it's not regular, then whenever you feel like you do it, it happens sometime. Okay, this month I'm busy, I'm not going to do it. Next month I'll see. Sometimes they do it quarterly. No, we need regular intervals, plus we need evidence, that's called documentation, and plus action. Okay, the manager has reviewed, he has documented everything, but what about the actions? If you have taken any action, for example, training and development, for example, hiring more resources or firing existing employees, whatever, what are the actions? That has to be documented. So you need to write all these things, okay? Then the second one, the staff not qualified. We are talking about the fitness industry, the service sector. And in service sector, whether it's teaching, medical, lawyers, what's very important thing is the staff. Here, they have hired, you have seen in the question, they have hired people without looking at their qualification. And when there is no check and balance on recruitment and selection, what happens? That they are hiring people without any licenses, because we're talking about the trainers in the gym. We're not talking about the teachers, we're talking about the trainers here, those who provide exercises and all that, and they provide you advices, they give you expert opinion about your health, they give you some recommendation about your diet and all that. People are not qualified and they're doing it. What is going to be how it's going to impact the Optima Fitness? Obviously, the reputation and the brand image. Reputation and the brand image. When people are like this, obviously the customer will come in and there will be so many accidents. So okay, so chances of accidents, the people, those your trainers are not qualified, then there is a possibility, high risk, health and safety risk, chances of accidents, which ultimately affect your brand image, the Optima Fitness, and your reputation. And you know that you already, in the question, they told you about the BFit program as well, which is the public-private partnership I'll be discussing today. And then if there would be any risk, any accident or something will happen, obviously there is a possibility of being sued, legal issue in case of licensing and problem. What are the recommendations? Obviously, very simple, recruitment and selection. Because I said RNS, recruitment and selection, control over recruitment and selection. It should not be like this, that, hey, if I'm the branch manager, I can hire anyone. No, there should be a centralized recruitment and selection policy, that whenever there would be a requisition for a staff, because obviously there should be a requisition first. Whenever there is a requisition, they should look at the centralized policy of recruitment and selection. Once it satisfies the policy, then definitely there should be a process. Let me write here, recruitment and selection process. Maybe it should be a decentralized level, but approved by the senior and then final by the board or whatever. So centralized system of hiring. Regular training is very important. That's called, you can call it CPD as well, professional development training, the continuous professional development training, because you see new machineries, new equipment, new technology in fitness coming up, new apps are coming up. We'll talk about the mobile app in the question. The new things are coming up, and I know our trainers, when we hired them, they were qualified at that time, they were expert at that time. But the thing is, with the passage of time, with the change in customer needs, with the change in environment, with the change in technology, with the change in new equipments, with the change in new medical things, with the change in new case studies coming up, we need to have regular training of the staff. Okay, it's not only about just you hire people. Staff not qualified means staff not only for the first time. We need to have continuous training. It's like I would say, when you talk about professional development, it is like a cell phone battery. A cell phone battery, it's not like that if it's charged just one time and it's good for a lifetime. No. You have to charge it regularly. So that's regular training is very important. And then obviously how they are working, there should be a feedback, or I would say this is 360-degree appraisal. What is 360-degree appraisal? See, in past we used to have only top-down appraisal. That in bureaucracy it still works. Okay, in what is called top-down appraisal. Top-down appraisal means your manager review your performance monthly, quarterly, annually, whatever. Okay, but now comes upward appraisal as well. Upward appraisal means the manager performance is being assessed by your subordinates. Like this, he's the manager and his performance, we want to review his performance, the senior manager. So they're going to ask from the subordinates. For example, my feedback. One of the thing is, like, the senior management, they review my performance. But the second is my student give me the feedback. So that's called upward appraisal. Then comes customer appraisal. When you go to a restaurant, they give you, after when you're done with your food and everything, they give you a feedback form. That's called customer appraisal. That happens in gym and everywhere. Okay, so customer appraisal, employee appraisal, senior manager appraisal, that's called the 360-degree appraisal. So feedback and 360-degree appraisal is very important, because you hired people, you said they were qualified, you're providing them training, but based on what? You're providing them training based on appraisal. Okay, this was the appraisal last month happened, and now these are the results. Hey, you need training, you need on-the-job training, you need off-the-job training, or whatever. So this is one of the recommendations. Then Unauthorized access, very common in the gym, in the fitness industry. You just get, some people, they don't take admission and still they're allowed to go in, use the facility and come back. Second is, which is also one of the weak control, that you get the access, you get the admission, you provide admission fee and all that, and you pay a monthly fee. But let's say you pay for 2-3 months. Once 3 months are done, your access should be denied then. You're not supposed to get in because you're not authorized, okay? But after 3 months, the systems are so weak that nobody cares. You just come in, everybody knows you, hey, and you just go do the facilities and all that. Unauthorized access. When there is unauthorized access means people are coming in, they're using the facility, you're using the shareholders fund, and in return, you're getting nothing. Unauthorized access. The organization, the Optima Fitness, is getting nothing. Like, people are coming in who are not supposed to get in, okay? So now, what happened? What is the impact? The first one is obviously the resources which should be, which are actually out for other people, you are actually using it. The customers are using it. So resources, shareholders' funds are misused. Serious security breach. This is very important point. The theft, terrorists, and all the bad people may come in, because when you give admission, obviously you take the ID cards, you take the social security number, you take NIC, whatever. Okay, but if the unauthorized person coming in, you have no record of that person, you have no data of that person. In case of any terrorist, any theft, anything happen, no matter you have the cameras and everything, but you don't have the document, hey, this guy was doing it. When you repeat the thing, when something bad happened and you repeat it, you said, this guy, where is the document? He was unauthorized, we don't have any data. Then obviously it's a financial loss. So you are actually, the person is interested in doing the workout and all that, and using all the facilities, but your controls, your weak controls, and your system is aligned without the fee. So financial loss, obviously. Traffic plus unrealistic crowd. See what happened every day, every month, every 15 days, you actually project. So this particular time we'll have 100 people here, because your facility, your resources are limited. It's not like that you have, obviously you have a swimming pool, a basketball court, a baseball court, a gym, and all that. So those are limited facility and for obviously limited number of people. So you actually project. Right now we have, this is the data, at 4 o'clock in the morning, this number of people come, 5, 6, 7 in the evening, job people. But now what will happen? You have the data for authorized people, and that's why you are projecting, and you are actually allocating the resources based on that particular data. Then at 5 o'clock we need 4 trainers in the gym, at 6 o'clock we need this, at 7 o'clock. But what will happen here? Unauthorized people are also coming in. So unrealistic crowd, which was never in your budget, extraordinary traffic, and may also affect genuine customer satisfaction. Because let's say 100 people should be here, now what is happening? 50 more people are here. So those 100 people, obviously they are going to write bad reviews about it, and that's not your fault also either, because you are not preparing unrealistic budget. This is actually weakness of controls, that people are coming in which were never a part of the budget. Now what should be the recommendation? The first one is obviously physical check. There should be a physical check, an ID card, or a biometric system, or the mobile app which has the access and you just scan it and go. Biometric system. You can have doors also, smart doors. So when you put the app, scan and automatically gives you access. App scanning. Key fobs for special facilities. For example, if someone is unauthorized, if someone is not authorized, he may go to the gym, he may use the restroom and all that, but he's not supposed to use other facilities, like let's say steam, sauna, jacuzzi, and all that. So they give you key fob for those facilities, like a scanning type thing. Okay. You can also outsource. This is one of the good points, because you are working on your primary activities, the trainer, the training, marketing about your fitness thing, projecting and all that. What about the security thing? How about we outsource this? How about we outsource this particular thing to a security company, or we can outsource this to any IT or tech company? So this is one of the recommendation. Then the last, there were 4 weaknesses. The last one is unauthorized payment. unauthorized payment. We have seen in the question paper that they actually approved it. Okay, the swimming pool facility and all that, which was not required actually. So now unauthorized payment, or you are actually approving the expenses, approving the assets which never needed, or even if it's needed, it was not authorized. Okay, so now when there is unauthorized payment, obviously, once again, misuse of shareholders fund, the shareholders equity and things will go down, your profitability will go down. Quality issues in absence of no tendering. When you are giving complete authority to the to the manager and he can do anything, he can approve anything, what will happen? There would be no healthy competition. Because when you go for tendering thing, hey, we need to construct a swimming pool and we're looking for vendors. So when there is no tendering, when there is no invitation or something like that, what will happen? Quality issue. Quality issue in the absence of no tendering. Culture of fraud. Culture of fraud, like the referral money. Okay, if you scratch my back and I'll scratch yours, I'm the manager at the fitness, I'm the branch manager, I'm the branch head. I'll approve, I'll give you this contract. You can to the swimming pool company, and hey, the swimming pool manager, the other party, you can give me some, under table money, some cut money. Conflict of interest. Obviously, when you are working for your own personal interest, although you are an employee, you are the branch manager, you should work for the organizational interest. But here there is no alignment of interest, because now you're doing what? You are actually working for your personal interest. Who allows you? The system, the weak controls allows you actually. It's obviously you're spending when no needed. So what will happen when you are actually spending the fund where the funds where it was actually not needed? It means the other areas where the funds where there is a genuine need, where the customer needs some sort of new facility or refurbishment of facility or remodeling of facility, organization will definitely lack there. And ultimately it will affect the brand image of the organization. What are the recommendations? Same like recruitment and selection. There should be a centralized policy of spending. If there is $5,000 spending, okay, the branch manager is going this 5,000 plus, 5,000 and 10,000, this guy, hierarchical control. 10,000 plus, the board will, okay. You do the budgeting thing, fixed budgeting, and then obviously authorization plus documentation. Let me write here for the evidence. Okay, this is the requisition coming in for the particular expense. Somebody has to authorize it, and obviously the documentation, so that you can have the evidence later on. Then physical regular visits. What is the problem? The problem is that we have given complete sole authority to the branch manager, and what, as a board or as the audit committee or as an internal auditor, what is the fear? The fear is they're spending amount which is not needed, or maybe they're doing unauthorized payment. So you can have some physical visits also. So with physical visits, obviously you can see, okay, this is something new. Where is the authorization? Where is the documentation of that? So see, this requirement, there were four risks which were already identified in the question. You just have to you have to evaluate it, find the implication. That is very important, the impact. Go in more detail, impact. And then you provide the recommendation. Simple. All right. And obviously your professional marks is for the evaluation skill, like the way we are evaluating. Hey, if this thing will happen, it is going to affect this, this, and this. And due to this thing, this is going to happen. With this risk already identified, this is the connection, this could be the connection, and it is going to create this problem. This is called evaluation. That you are creating a judgment with a set of data available you have. Okay. Now, the second requirement is, alrighty, okay. This is the public-private partnership. Just let me grab water. Hold on. Okay. Do you know what is public-private partnership? See, when you say public-private partnership, means you know what is public sector. The activities, the departments, the organizations which are owned by government. And private sector, like you and me guys, okay? And our organizations. So when you say public-private partnership, it means the government side for any of the department there or any activity or any special activity, not only existing department, maybe any special venture or something. It's between the public, the government, and the private party. That's called the public-private partnership. In this case, we have this BFIT program. Okay, BFIT program is actually, because Optima Fitness, it's not come under public sector. It's a government. It's a private sector actually. It's a private fitness thing, but government health department. We can have a lot of examples. Sometime in education also. Let's say our government is proposing training and development workshop for the women, for children, for any particular class, something. So what they want, they say, okay, we lack some resources. We need some resources from the private sector. So they invite private parties, private colleges, private teachers and all that. And after tendering and obviously after all the evaluation, they approve one. That's called, and they give a name. Okay, this is a public-private partnership. And obviously it's done very formally. We make arrangements, and then definitely the taxpayer funds are used because the government is actually buying the services from private sector. So there are obviously pros and cons for that. Okay, here we have this BFIT program. BFIT is the name of that particular venture. Optima is the company, the case study, and then we have the government health department. So what is the requirement? Analyze the potential opportunities and threats. So not asking the strength and weakness. Sometimes students, what they do, whenever they see opportunities and threats and fears and all that, they do the complete SWOT analysis. It is not required. You're just wasting your time and wasting your marks, okay? Wasting your resources. Analyze the potential opportunities and threats. Only opportunities and fears, that's it. Which Optima must consider. Optima must consider, not the government. Don't care about the government. Don't look at the government side. The government is ready to do it. It's you, your brand and your organization. And obviously you are the project manager of this particular organization, which Optima must consider in relation to understanding a collaborative partnership. It's a collaboration. Obviously it's not between private, but it's a collaborative partnership. In relation to undertaking a collaborative partnership with the Department of Health to deliver the BFIT program. And second requirement is explain what is meant by value for money. Okay, we'll do it later on. Now, what you need to consider as an Optima Fitness senior manager or the project manager, how are you going to evaluate this BFIT program? Okay, now what they're asking, analysis skills. See, this is analysis skills here. Like you have to create a linkage. Whatever the data is given, you create a linkage, okay? Because sometimes, see, lack of analysis. What is lack of analysis? What is the absence of analysis skills? You are the head of Optima Fitness. The government is saying, okay, we'll give you X $1 million and we want to do this BFIT program. You said, oh wow, government is going to do it. We will be the partner of government and we'll have this $1 million. Let's do it. Everything looks great. It means there is a lack and absence of analysis skills, that you are not creating a links. Okay. Now here, what we have to see, BFIT program, proposed evaluation, public-private partnership. I said the first paragraph will talk about the opportunities, the positive side. Okay. The options, I would say the options, possible options or favorable options. Favorable options we'll have once we shake hand with the government. The first one, obviously, you will have a competitive edge in your market. I'm not talking about the government market, in your market. Once you are in this venture, you will have a competitive edge. Why? Explain it. You will have a competitive edge because your other guys, your other the other businesses in your, or other supplier in your industry, other fitness. Let's say you are Optima, they're Life Fitness, one is Orange Fitness and all that. Why they are not selected by the government, and now you are a part of the government team, a Department of Health or XYZ ministry. So you definitely will have a competitive edge. Hey, not only the consumer market look at us, they come and get our services, our trainer services, but at the same time, the government is also asking us to provide the service. It means you will have some sort of your, a good brand image compared to your competitor. So you will definitely have a competitive edge, and obviously your brand image will go up. It may go down also. That's the fear, okay? It's because right now the government is in your favor, and we are talking about the friendship side, okay, the good positive side. Then you can attract more investors. Why? Reason, when you talk about, there's so many criticism on government and public sector, but the good part is, the positive side is the sustainability, the financial sustainability. See, when you have collaboration with private people, obviously they have limited funds, they have limited shareholders and all that. But when you talk about government, the government has, access to every person's wallet, the taxpayer. Okay, so when you talk about the government financial stability, the sustainability normally is not an issue. Although government collapse, but in normal case, financial stability is there. So when you talk about this BFIT program with Optima and the government, the existing shareholders' confidence will go up, and obviously the new investor, they will try to come in, because now you have some sort of agreement, which is actually your asset, is your intangible asset and your strength, that hey, they have some good agreements which are financially very sound and financial guaranteed actually. Okay, so you may attract more investors and maybe more ventures. Okay, we have satisfied the government, we can have new private partnership as well, or maybe you can have more programs with the government in future. Your profile and your biodata, that's yes, like see, some audit firms, they do local services, they provide local services, they're local audit firm. But when you talk about the big four firms, no matter they work in small country, okay, a third world country, but they always write, we are global firm, we are sister firm of XYZ country, we have presence in 185 countries, 130 countries and all that. So that's always, once again, a good competitive edge, and you write in your profile. Okay, so this thing, yes, this thing, the profile and the bio, that we are the part and parcel, we provide services to the government. So obviously their profile and their things will go up. It will also help, when I said competitive edge and all that, not only attract more investors, but more members also. Their confidence will go up. Sustainable financial benefits and all that, yes. Now, what are the fears? Because obviously there are threats also. You can write fears or say threats. Let me write here threats. Okay. What are the threats in the public-private partnership, or the BFIT program, or the Optima Fitness they should evaluate? The first issue is limited resources, because already you are providing services. When I say limited resources, it means human resource. It could be your facility and so. When already you are providing services to your existing members, you have existing members coming in, they do gym and all that, and you have limited number of trainers, and already we have seen so many weaknesses. Now, with limited resources, now you are shaking hand with the big elephant, because government is totally a different size of animal. Okay, so now you are shaking hand you are entering in a big project. So limited resources, that could be a big failure. Okay, risk of existing customer dissatisfaction. If your whole attention, because there are differences in culture as well. The government has a bureaucratic culture. And obviously, when you talk about the bureaucratic culture, they have so many form filling exercise, they have so many rule-based thing, like so many red tapeism thing. So obviously, you'll have to, the management of the Optima Fitness, they will have to spend more time on those bureaucracies and on those form filling exercise and red tapeism thing. So there is a possibility that your attention, while dealing with this project or completing this project, your attention may be diverted from your existing customer satisfaction or your primary value chain activity, the correct word, to maybe this secondary type venture. So risk of existing customer dissatisfaction. Then the big problem, it's a practical problem. I've seen this practical problem. Cultural differences between the bureaucracy, the public sector and the private sector. Obviously, one is the non-profit organization. They don't need to report it to the shareholder. They have no shareholders. Okay, they just get tax from the taxpayer, and then it's a Hitler approach. So cultural difference. The people in the bureaucracy, they've been working for long, and they never work for profit. They never work for profit. Whereas in private sector, what is the ultimate goal? The bottom line, which is the profit, which is the commercial objective. That's it. So could be a cultural difference. If this project is flopped, this was I said in the opportunities, that the brand image will go up if it is successful. But if in case if it's flop, you can't fight with the government. Okay, the media, everything is under control by the government. So let's say if the government says something bad about you, it will definitely come in the media. And if this particular project flop, not only you will have a financial loss with this BFIT program, but at the same time, you will lose your competitive edge. Your competitors will make fun, and your existing customer, they'll say, okay, goodbye. Differences in objectives also. In this BFIT program, obviously, when you entering in this venture, you will have a different objective. You have some sort of shareholders demand and all that. And secondly, the government will have a different set of objectives. So there is a possibility, this is a possible threat, this is a possible fear, that if the objectives are different and it's not properly aligned, so maybe. Then comes this thing, yes, the second requirement, value for money. Explain what is meant by the value for money obligation of the Department of Health as mentioned in its proposal, and evaluate the potential challenges this may pose for Optima in delivery of the BFIT program. I repeat, explain what is meant by value for money. Value for money, you all know that, 3 E's, let me write here. Value for money. This also you done in, I think in F8, F5 and all that, 3 E's. Economy, efficiency, and your effectiveness. And you know that economy means the input, that you try to get the input, the quality resource in least possible consideration. Okay, for example, XYZ resource, I have to obtain XYZ quality resource and this particular standard. If I'm getting in $15, how about I get in $10? That means I'm achieving the economy. What is efficiency? Efficiency means the output. Whatever the resource I have obtained, it means I have achieved the economy. Whatever the resource I have obtained, now I have to utilize it. Okay, so maximum utilization, it means with least possible wastage rate and maximum output is called efficiency. And what is effectiveness? Effectiveness means the impact, the overall objective, the achieving of overall objective. Why did you obtain the resource? Why are you utilizing? Why are you hiring this? Why did you have this name? Why marketing and all that? What was the overall objective? If that objective is achieved, it means the 3 E's have been achieved, especially the last E, which is called the effectiveness and the impact. For example, why are you taking this course? Just to get the clear, just to get the pass. If you get the pass, it means effectiveness has been achieved. If we do it real quick, it means efficiency is achieved. Okay, in least possible price, you get the course. That is economy. So sometimes, there is a trade-off. If you try to achieve the economy, then you lose the efficiency. If you work on efficiency, sometimes you lose the objective, which is the effectiveness. Okay, now what they're asking, explain what is meant by the value for money. That's the cash marks. Okay, well, definition of value for money. Obligation of the Department of Health, like the government side. Now they're talking about the government side. That what is the relationship with this concept value for money has to do with the Department of Health, as mentioned in the proposal in the question paper, and evaluate the potential challenges this may pose for Optima in delivery of the BFIT program. Obviously, not only in the first requirement, you look at the opportunities and threats, but at the same time, you have to evaluate your co-partner, the partner's obligation as well. Because now when you are hugging your partner, when you are entering in the venture, not only the strength you are getting it, but at the same time, the liability of the person. It's same like marriage, the joint venture, the collaboration, the partnership. Not only you get the asset side, but you get the uncontrollable liabilities as well. Now, value for money. The first one is the economy. Obviously, the quality criteria. This could be a challenge. This could be a challenge for Optima Fitness because you have to evaluate. It's not about the government. The government, obviously, government has the obligation. And now do not think like you're sitting in third world country. They never said it. Okay. You assume that government has some sort of obligation towards towards their own audits, towards the public, towards their stakeholder. So obviously the quality criteria, which is the obligation of Department of Health. This Optima Fitness, when they entering in this BFit program, they will have to make sure whatever the resources they're getting it, those quality criteria, those quality standards have to be achieved. Now, one thing very important here you have to discuss is the subjectivity. What is the definition of quality? And this is a real thing. Something which is low quality, let's say this particular phone, I would say it's a very high quality phone. Maybe the other guy standing here as a bystander said, no, it's a low quality phone. It means quality is also very subjective. Quality criteria, high quality criteria, it's a subjective approach. So there is a possible conflict between this economy thing. You're saying, okay, we are providing this consideration, we are paying this consideration for the equipment, for the training and whatever, for the trainers, and we getting this thing. Maybe that particular quality is not up to the mark of the bureaucracy, okay? So quality criteria, conflicting, yeah, this I mentioned, or subjective. There is also a possibility of limited budget. See, when you talk about government, in government, the budgets are approved. This is the term we use. Okay, we have this, the June is coming up, July is coming up, December is coming up, different countries are different. We are announcing the budget. So when they announce the budget, they actually allocate the resources. Okay, this is for infrastructure, this is for education, this is for defense and all that. Government has to work with the limited budget, whatever is allocated. Obviously, that budget is there. Financial stability, everything is there. But the budget is already allocated by the cabinet, by the assembly, by the big boys, okay? Now, whatever the quality you're getting, whatever the long-term impact, there is a possibility. Whatever the convincing power you have, they have this particular limited budget. And in that budget, you have to work. So there is a possibility that maybe we'll have to, let me write here, compromise on quality due to the budget thing. And let me tell you one more interesting thing here. Let's say the government budget is, I've seen this practical thing, don't want to quote anything here. Let's say the budget is $1 million. At the end of the year or during the period, the government has to spend that $1 million, even if it is not required. The government departments, they have to spend it, because if they don't spend it, what will happen? Ultimately, that amount will go back, and not only will go back to the authorities, but at the end, they will have some inquiry also, especially in third world countries. They will have inquiry. Hey, we assigned $1 million for the training and development budget or XYZ budget. Why didn't you spend it? So the officer, that's why what they do, they just spend it. Even if it's not needed, they just spend it. In the previous requirement, we talked about the swimming pool thing. We said, no, in the private sector, no matter what the budget says, if it is not needed, do not spend it. But in bureaucracy, if the budget is allocated, you have to spend it, even if it's not needed. So yes, so these are the two things, limited budget, and the budget has to spend, okay? Second, efficiency. Obviously, for Optima Fitness, when they talk about efficiency, it means they're utilizing resources least efficiently with least possible, whether it's labor hours or machine hours or gym fitness hour in terms of equipment, and they want ultimate output, maximum output. Why? So that they can have maximum profit. Because when you talk about efficiency means what? Profit. Least possible resources, your cost will go down and the profit will go up. So when you talk about Optima will have some sort of shareholders demand. Okay, we need X% of ROI. You can write this term, return on investment. Our return on equity is this thing. Our dividend payout ratio is XYZ thing. So they have some sort of shareholder demand in the private sector. But in the government sector, they are not for profit organization. When it's a not for profit organization, they don't have as such pressure. What is the pressure they have? This is the resource, just utilize it. That's it. They don't care about that efficiency, which is the private sector. That's why when you are retired from the private sector, no matter after 20, 30 years, at the position of CEO and all that. And if you, let's say you are retired from the government. Let's say you are an officer, CSP officer or anything, and you retired from the government after 20, 30 years. And now after the retirement from the government, obviously the doors are closed now, you're retired as per law. Now if private company offers you, hey, will you be our chief executive officer because you are the commissioner or you are the head or flanner? How about if you become our chief executive officer or the project manager or the senior manager, whatever, it will be a big flop. Reason, for last 30 years, you work for non-profit organization. You never work for the bottom line. You never work for commercial objective. And now you are the CEO of the organization whose ultimate objective is shareholders' profit. So this is the problem. Public sector has to spend, okay, without as such accountability of profit. This is very important. There is no accountability of profit. It's just a non-profit organization. These are the funds, just utilize it. So there would be a problem in efficiency thing. So efficiency, which is because they will try to become more efficient in the BFIT program. But this guy, the government, maybe they will have some more demands here. Effectiveness. Normally in government sector, when they foresee the impact, when they foresee the objective, it normally comes in the long term. It's not like a one-day cricket match or 2020 cricket match, or it's not like a restaurant. You just eat it and give you the feedback right away. No. Let's say when the government announced XYZ budget on defense or against the terrorism or maybe against the party or maybe about the health or about the education. On the very next day, you see everybody is literate. No, after 20 years, after 5 years, after 10 years. Okay, we are planning for plantation, a green system, after 20 years, after 30 years. So normally, when you talk about the government objective, the impact comes in the long run. Whereas in private sector, you normally want short-term objectives, a quick returns they want to see. So there could be a possibility of this impact here. It could be in long term. Then, differences in KPIs, key performance indicators. For the government, maybe it's not a delay, but for private sector, it could be a delay. They say, okay, this is not good. This is a failure for us. This performance indicator is a failure for us. We give you grade to this, but they say, no, for us, it is somewhere B or C. Differences in KPIs. Then some objectives are not measurable. Some goals are not measurable. That could be a challenge for Optima Fitness, because I just said, there are so many political and government announcements, especially in the parties, the ruling parties. There's so many announcements and there's so many manifestos which are not measurable. So many things, okay? So when it's not measurable, how can you align your objectives? How can you ensure this effectiveness, this impact? So that could be a challenge for Optima Fitness. Then uncontrollable factors may affect the project. This is a big fear also. We can write in the fear also here. Uncontrollable factors. Uncontrollable environmental factors. Uncontrollable environmental factors. That could be a fear. Okay, so this you can write in effectiveness as well. That okay, both are on the same page and they want to try to achieve the objective, but both the organization have challenges. Okay, so uncontrollable factors, maybe the environmental factors, something that may affect the project and may become a failure. You can write other points as well, but this is a very easy requirement, value for money. See, these two requirements, not this public-private one, but this one, the value for money, this is actually F8. This is actually F5. We already done the concept and everything. And see, the SBL examiner, he never asks about what and define and explain. But if it is say, okay, define or explain this thing, it means the marks are here. I don't have the pocket here, okay. And then this control thing, the risk thing, you have done so many case studies in F8. And obviously so many case studies in SBL also. So you'll see in every other attempt, okay, this is the system, these are the weaknesses and all that. It could be difficult. It could be difficult. I would say it could be very interesting also. If just give you the proposal or just give you the report and you have to identify the risk. And then you creating impact and all that. So obviously the guy sitting next to you, and then there would be so many risks you may identify. But here in SBL, what it does normally, it gives you, okay, these are the 4 risks, these are the 3. Like you don't need to identify it. You just evaluate, create impact, and give us your expert opinion. We have 2 more requirements. One is about the marketing, which is the target marketing, I'm saying market segmentation, and about the CSR. And one requirement is for big data and mobile app. That's very interesting. Both are interesting actually. So I'll see you tomorrow then, and I'll upload it in the LMS and my YouTube channel as well. Thank you. And if you have any questions, just let me know. And you have a great day now. Thank you.